Hey Wilds, Lauren Wild, the Church Witch here. I told you guys I would get a quick tutorial on looking at your chart. So when I say something is transiting and I'm like, look at where Taurus is in your chart and notice if you have any planetary placements there, that's going to be kind of what we're talking about. All right. If you really want into my deeper astrology teachings, my apprenticeship is open for applications and we learn a lot about astrology in my apprenticeship year 1, and then year 2 is literally how to become an astrologer, tarologist, life coach, and professional witch, right? So check out that link, go to my website and click on apprentice. You can fill out the application. I have 12 spots. All right. So let's go ahead and pull it up. All right. So I'm going to pull up my chart. If it's going to do it. There we go. Okay. All right. So here is my chart. All right. What you're going to be looking at is going to be the wheel predominantly. All right. So this is the natal wheel of astrology. Okay. It is 12 houses, and all 12 houses represent a different way that you discover yourself. All right. So the first house, see the little one right here? This represents how you discover yourself. This is you. This line right here is called the ascendant, and this is what we would call rising sign. So see how there's this little glyph right here? This is the astrological glyph for the sign of Scorpio, 14 degrees. So my rising sign is 14 degrees of Scorpio, all right? So in order to be able to do this, there's a couple of skills that you have to develop, okay? And one of them is you have to understand what the glyphs are, and you have to understand the houses. All right. Once you understand how to navigate those two things, you want to have some good astrology books that you can work with for self-study that help you understand what does, the first house mean? What does, the eighth house mean? All right. Because that will help you understand where those planetary placements are. It's important to understand astrology is incredibly complex. Okay. I cannot get all into the details of astrology in this 10-minute video. That's literally impossible. But what I can do is show you when I say, look for where, Taurus is in your chart, you're able to find where Taurus is in your chart. You're able to understand which house it's in, and then you're able to look up more information from there. All right. So the first things first is you have to understand this is the wheel of the zodiac. Each one of the houses represent a different thing. The first house is how you discover yourself. The second house is your values and your finances and your self-worth and self-esteem. The third house is your communication, your perception of the world, your early childhood education, your siblings, your neighborhood, and your everyday life. It also rules things like your car. Okay. Your fourth house is the house of home. It's naturally ruled by Cancer. It rules your relationship with your mother. It rules what your life was like at the very beginning of your life. A lot of it has to do with also your own emotional health. Okay. The fifth house we like to call the fun house. This is the house of children, the house of theater, the house of play, the house of our sexuality, how we express our sexuality and our romantic interests. Okay. The sixth house is the house of service, physical health, daily routine and structures. Okay. This is like the fitness and the service house. It's also our work and our coworkers and our bosses. Our seventh house is the house of marriage, commitment, business partners, and also open enemies. The eighth house is naturally ruled by Scorpio, so it's all things scorpionic. It is the ruler of the occult, the mystery, other people's money, finances, taxes, death, divorce. The eighth house and the 12th house and the fourth house are known as the most hidden. They're very subliminal. They're very below the surface, especially the 8th and the 12th house. The 8th and the 12th house tend to also have to do the most with psychic capacity as well. Okay. The ninth house is naturally ruled by Sagittarius, and it is a higher mind. It's like rising up above it. It is all about new religion. We call this, the preacher teacher guru house. This is how we want to expand our minds. It's also rules things like travel and new languages and things like that. The 10th house rules our profession, the way that we want to be seen by the world, our reputation. It also is the ruler of your father. Okay, this is very much about your career. How do you want to show up in career? The 11th house is the house of friends. It's naturally ruled by Aquarius. And so it's all about humanity and community and collective mind. And it is very much about how we're taking care of other people. All right. And then the 12th house is just naturally ruled by Pisces, is the most subliminal. It's very spiritual. It's very psychological. It's a lot of mental health, the stuff that's deep, deep down within us. All right. So that's just the basic wheel. Now, when I say something like, where is Taurus in your astrology or in your natal chart, that's where something's going to be happening. I'm wanting you to look for first the glyph of Taurus. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a whiteboard really quick so I can show you guys the glyphs. All right. So, oh, sorry. 1 second. Let me move this a little bit. Oh, it's not going to let me move it. Well, okay. Hold on. Let me stop that really quick. 1 second. Done. Okay. Oh, where did it go? Why is it doing that? Okay. Here we go. Let me erase these. All right. Get my drawing pen. Make it a little bigger. All right. So our first glyph is going to be Aries. Okay. And this is the sign of the ram. So when I say look for where Aries is in your chart, you're going to look for this. It looks like a little V. All right. This is the sign of the ram, and that is Aries. Okay. So go ahead and draw that. All right, the next is Taurus. All right, it is a circle with a crescent moon on its head, represents Earth. Okay, this is Taurus. This is what you would look for when I'm saying Taurus, circle with a crescent moon. Okay, the next is going to be Gemini, which is the twins. All right, so 1 line, 2 lines, cross, cross. All right. This is the sign of Gemini. All right, now we're going to get into Cancer. Okay. Really working on my tracing skills here. It looks like this. We always say it looks like 69. All right, this is the sign of Cancer. Okay. All right. Then we have Leo. And Leo is this little glyph like that. Okay. And then we have Virgo, which looks like an M. And then it traces back. Let me see. My dyslexia just kicked in. Hold on. It goes the other way. Here's Virgo. Okay, Virgo. And then I'm going to go like, there we go. It's almost like there's a P on the end. This is Virgo. Okay. Then we have Libra. Scorpio. Looks like an M with a stinger on the end, right? It's like that scorpion tail. Scorpio. Sagittarius is the archer. So it has these, it looks like an arrow like that, cross in it, seeking truth. Capricorn is like a V, and then it looks like it has an S. Clear. Okay, Aquarius is the water bearer. It is the water of air. Looks like little waves. And then last but not least is Pisces, our fish, which looks like this, actually. Let me make that a little better. There we go, Pisces. All right, so now that you've seen the glyphs, right? Let me stop this share and come back to my sign, right? So say I was looking for where Virgo is in my chart, I would look for the sign of Virgo. There's the little glyph of Virgo, right? And it is on the cusp of my 10th and my 11th house. So then I would look up 10th and 11th house, right? So the 10th house rules my career, and then my 11th house rules, you know, my life goals, my dreams. And guess what? I got a lot of placements in those right there. I got my sun conjunct Mercury in Libra in the 11th house. And then I've got my Venus and my Mars conjunct one another in the 10th house. Okay. So when I say I want you to look at that, I want you to go and look and see if you have any major placements there. So a conjunction means that it is somewhere within 7 degrees of one another, sometimes 8, depending on how close they are. And say, you know, let me pull up. Well, actually, no, that's going to confuse you guys. But say the sun was at, you know, 17 degrees or at 0 degrees, it would naturally be in a conjunction with my sun. And as it gets closer and closer and closer to that aspect, it gets more and more intense. The aspect will start to wane down after it comes into an exaction. All right. So when it's within a 3-degree orb, it gets harder and harder and harder and feels more and more like a pressure cooker. All right. Now, a couple of other quick things to notice is that the angles of the chart, all right, this is the ascendant, this is the descendant, this is the midheaven, and this is the IC, or the ilium coeli, all right? And so the ascendant is about you, and the descendant is about the other. The IC is about the bottom of your life, the roots, the foundation of your life. So the line that's between the 3rd and the 4th house, which is your upbringing, all right? Your earliest childhood experiences is how we rise up and become our highest potential, which is our midheaven, all right? So my life growing up was very Aquarian. And as I rise up, I look more and more like a Leo. A lot of people do think I'm a Leo. I'm not a Leo. I'm very Libra, Scorpio, Aries. I do love it. I do love Leo, but I have no placements in Leo, right? So hopefully that is helpful to you guys. Astrology is incredibly complex and it takes years of study, which is why I built the schools that I built. And, you know, I really believe in the programs that I create because I think that it allows people to build grounded foundations to not only know how to read a chart, but also embody it, how to feel the energy of that sign. And that's how you become a really good reader and psychic, is by knowing how to feel the energy of the archetypes of the signs, of the archetypes of the elements, and how they alchemize together. All right. And that is what I do in my school, is teach you guys alchemy. All right. So hopefully I'm not self-promoting too much, but it's very complicated. It's a lot. There is a really great book. It's called Astrology for Yourself by Demetra George. This is my old one. This is like my original one that I got at Half Price Books. There's a new one now that's out on Amazon. That is my absolute favorite. Here, this is what it looks like. It's my absolute favorite, and I require all my students to have it. So it's a really great self-study book if you really want to dive on in. I can't recommend it enough. All right, guys, I'll chat with you later. Bye.